All right, so the symptoms that Mariah is presenting with suggest iron deficiency anemia. The decrease in hemoglobin, hematocrit, ferritin, iron levels, and also the symptoms of fatigue, dizziness, headache, palpitations, hair loss, and pallor. These all support the diagnosis of iron deficiency anemia. And what that is that it is a condition that healthy red blood cells can't um, function appropriately due to the insufficient amount of iron. And why iron is important is the lack of iron cannot produce enough of of a substance that is needed for red blood cells. So when we have these lack of red blood cells, we have a lack of oxygen carrying capacity. So this is where our dizziness and our fatigued feeling can come in, and altogether we just need that higher amount of hemoglobin so we can carry more oxygen, more energy, to be able to function basically. And so there's many underlying issues that Mariah also presents with that can contribute to the possibility of iron deficiency anemia. Particularly, we're going to kind of look at a couple here. The first one is genetics. Family genetics can kind of add into this in the sense that there's a possible mutation in the tumor suppressor 6 gene, and this gene is important with providing instructions or making a protein called matropase 2, which helps regulate iron levels in the body. The tumor suppressor gene 6 gene mutations reduce or eliminate functional matropase 2, which disrupts iron regulation and leads to the shortage of iron in the bloodstream, which iron is essential for hemoglobin, and the fact that hemoglobin carries oxygen, and when we don't have that iron, we're not able to produce hemoglobin appropriately, and therefore we present with the symptoms and lab results that Mariah is presenting with. So this can be an inherited condition. So it is an autosomal recessive pattern. So family might not present with iron deficiency anemia. You could have passed it on to her. So just because you don't present with it doesn't mean that she can't have it. You just could have the carrying capacity to transfer this down to your kids, which in this case, depending on if you have a diagnosis of iron deficiency anemia, she's developed the mutation. So also kind of with genetics, and something that is important is diet intake. So diet intake is important for iron deficiency anemia. If there's a known susceptibility of low iron, it is important to increase a diet on iron-rich foods, such as beans, dried fruits, eggs, lean red meats, leafy greens, peas, and tofu are some instances. Another nutrient also that is important to include into a diet is vitamin C, which vitamin C helps absorb iron. So altogether, in Mariah's diet, she is a vegetarian, which is great, but she does have a lack of leafy greens in her diet, which is important. So just kind of need to adjust what we eat. So kind of looking at other things that aren't necessarily as controlled, but maybe we could do some interventions to help control it, is the fact that she has heavy menstrual bleeding. The chronic blood loss can add to exacerbation of the symptoms. So just think, we can manage it, just have frequent lab draws, or, maybe she would need to consider to go into birth control to help regulate the menstrual flow to decrease heavy bleeding. So another something that also kind of back to the diet that we'd focus on is cutting back the tea. She drinks frequent tea, which is not bad at all. But however, tea does contain tannins, which inhibit iron absorption. So if she's drinking these very frequently and she already has low iron levels, then, we're inhibiting this iron absorption, and it's just going to make it worse. So, and as we control, the symptoms, and maybe she could still drink tea, just not as excessive or not as much as what she has been. So, So something else that is important are the chronic daily antacid uses. So we need to figure out something, why does she need to take daily antacids? Um, this is the antacids can reduce stomach acid levels, which is essential for iron absorption. So we need to figure out for her, why are we taking frequent antacids, and what can we do to help manage this better than what she does right now. So that it's something else we can manage. And also some things we can do to help her feel better, kind of just talking about that diet again, cutting back the tea, and then, cutting back the antacids, and then also taking iron supplementation would be important too. That'll help as well. But also just scheduling follow-up appointments with the primary care provider to just make sure that we're following lab levels, and to ensure that we don't have to go to the ER again for the fatigue and everything that she's feeling today. So yeah, everything is very manageable, and we should be able to treat her and get her out, and just be able to manage her outside of the hospital after this. So.